All right, Jackie Jones here at the Jackie Jones Show on iWatchWrestling.com for the WWE Over the Limit pay-per-view review. On the pre-show, it was Kane versus Zack Ryder. It's kind of too bad these guys are on the pre-show. This was building up to be a big feud before WrestleMania, and you thought maybe Zack Ryder and Kane would actually be at WrestleMania, but Zack Ryder's really fallen downhill. It's kind of just used as fodder for the Kane-Cena feud. So, but anyway, Kane went over Zack Ryder. Zack Ryder's a guy a lot of people have been looking up to as like this guy that proved that you can go on the internet, get yourself over, and then it will lead to maybe a big push in the WWE. But I think his star is really diminished. But I think he must be a big seller and must be really over with the crowd because they're always putting out Zack Ryder merchandise. But he's not getting the push on TV. Anyway, I didn't see this match, but Kane went over. It went right into a Battle Royal when actually the pay-per-view started, the Power to the People Battle Royal. And I guess this started actually on the pre-show and then led into the pay-per-view. But anyway, a really good Battle Royal. I always have a lot of fun watching the Battle Royal. You know, it makes me think of when I was a kid. I used to love the Battle Royals. I know when you see them a lot, they get kind of boring because there's not a lot to do except when you're down to 5 or 6 guys. But when you don't see them too often, there's just something cool about seeing all these guys in the ring. And so anyway, big Battle Royal. It came down to Christian and The Miz. Christian went over, kind of surprising. I thought maybe, Miz must be out of the doghouse. He's going to win here, but he didn't. Christian won. And it was kind of weird because both are considered heels right now by the crowd. I think Christian's more of a babyface just by default. But they're both positioned as like heels on TV. So not a lot of heat. Because it's kind of heel versus heel, which I'll get into a little bit more later. But winning that, he got his choice of either facing Santino or Cody Rhodes, his choice of the U.S. or the Intercontinental Championship, and he picked Santino, but then later on he changed his mind and said he wanted to go after Cody Rhodes. Kind of a weird thing that I don't know what really the point was. Really hot tag team match, Jack Swagger and Dolph Ziggler versus Kofi Kingston and R-Truth. I actually saw a little promo on the pre-show, actually on the pay-per-view part. They didn't show the Battle Royal of the Kane match on that part, which is kind of strange because I actually paid for it, but if you go on the YouTube, you get to see more stuff. But it was a really bad promo by Swagger on there. I don't know, I never thought he was like a particularly good promo guy, but boy, was this one bad. And Dolph Ziggler, I think, is a good promo guy. But he kept throwing out all these new catchphrases, I guess hoping one of them would stick. And he actually stole the Pain Train moniker from a longtime fan of In Your Head, the Pain Train. He called himself the All-American Pain Train. I don't know if that's going to stick. And what else did he use? Like the Saucier of Swagger, which kind of sounds like that might have been good, but the delivery was really bad. But anyway, the match, really good stuff. Dolph Ziggler is one of the best workers in the WWE right now as far as like the younger guys go. And I'm not really sure why he's in position higher on the card. I think he could potentially be a main event guy. But nonetheless, he was even the guy who did the job in here. And I'm kind of worried that he might end up like a Val Venus, who's a guy who had all the tools, but because he was such a good seller and he was really good at getting other guys over and moves over, that he never progressed higher up the card. So I hope that doesn't happen to Dolph Ziggler, but it's kind of looking like it might be to me. Just really exciting match. Kofi Kingston got the pinfall on Dolph Ziggler with the Trouble in Paradise, and especially at the end, a lot of high-flying stuff. And I got to say, I really noticed actually on the WWE pay-per-view that there's a lot of things, but one thing they really have over TNA are hot finishes. They know how to build up drama in the finishes. I actually saw people in the chat room saying that there's too many false finishes in WWE, but I didn't think so. I know I've seen matches like that, kind of more in the indies, but all the matches tonight I thought had really brought up the drama, and on the TNA pay-per-view the other week, I thought that was kind of a big problem with so many of the finishes were just kind of roll-ups out of nowhere. They did a backstage vignette where they were talking about confiscating signs in the crowd, which was kind of funny because WWE does do that. But they were wanting to take away anti-John Laurinaitis signs, and they had Tyler Rex and Kurt Hawkins doing that. Maybe this will lead to something for them. I mean, they won't be like the official guys who take signs down, but maybe they'll be kind of like the Stooges for Laurinaitis. I don't know, maybe at least if they get TV time, maybe they could make the best of it and, start being used somewhat. Then we had Layla versus Beth Phoenix. Just pretty much a nothing match. I know I'm not the biggest women's wrestling fan. Layla she's not over. Like, I know they thought it'd be a big deal when she came back, but I don't really think anybody cares. Match wasn't so swinging. Finish was pretty cool. She does do a nice neck breaker, I'll give her that. It's weird how Beth Phoenix, they'll at times they want you to, she's the glamazon, she's this monster, she's tearing the women apart, and then other times she's just a normal woman. And I think that's really hurt her over the years in WWE because you have to be one or the other. You can't. 1 minute she's this, this beast, and then the next minute she's just a regular old diva that can get, take moves and get pinned by anybody. And, the fans are chanting, "We want Karma." And I think they're really missing the boat here because if you bring in Karma, and maybe they don't want two monsters, but to me it's kind of silly because if you really had built up Beth Phoenix now while Karma's gone, when she comes back, you have the eventual big battle of the monsters, Beth Phoenix and Karma. You have Karma beating the other women, Beth, defend her title, then they eventually meet. Right now, who would really be that big for Karma to fight? I mean, was she going to wrestle Eve? Kelly? Layla? I mean, would anybody really get excited that Karma's wrestling Layla? Four-way match for the championship was... four-way match, Sheamus defended his title versus Del Rio, Randy Orton, and Chris Jericho. I'm normally not a huge fan of four-way matches. This match was good, though, especially near the end when it really is picking up and everybody's exchanging all the moves. I always dig that. It's really exciting. Sheamus pinned Jericho to keep the title with the white noise. Really not my favorite move. Also, I really don't like the name. I don't really see how it has anything to do with Sheamus besides the word white. And I really think they overused the word white. We get it. The guy's pale. The Great White. And now his move's a white noise. What does this have to do with the guy? Nothing. But I like, the Celtic Cross, something like that. But I like his, the old move, the Razor's Edge that he used to do. And I really think his kick is over, and he can do it to everybody. Miz came out, and he challenged Brodus Clay, and he started dancing. It was kind of lame. Brodus Clay came out, new tights, pretty cool. Kind of a long match for Brodus Clay match. I'm not really sure if the Brodus Clay character is going to be around for, I don't know, it seems like people don't take to it as much as they used to, or it's just not quite as over as they're hoping it would be. No Hornswoggle this week. I thought it was, pretty decent, kind of almost a squash match. Too bad Miz is used in this position. This guy's main event in WrestleMania last year, and now he's getting squashed by Brodus Clay. Of course, the chicks are pretty hot, but it's always kind of weird. You got these two really hot chicks doing the booty dance, and they bring in little kids out of the crowd. I don't know. It's just kind of creepy. I don't know. But I mean, let's be honest. If I was a 14-year-old boy, 12-year-old boy, and they brought me in there with those, I'd be pretty happy myself. But it's a little creepy, if you know what I'm saying. They had the People Power, Tyler Rex and Kurt Hawkins going around taking down anti-Laurinaitis signs. It was kind of funny. Then we had the Cody Rhodes versus Christian match. This was the first match really had boring chants. And I think the main problem, I don't think it was particularly great or bad. It was just kind of a match. But I think the big problem was neither guy is really babyface. I guess Christian is, but there was no turn or no a couple years ago, Christian was really over as a babyface and they turned him heel. Right now, he's got no momentum behind him whatsoever. He's just all of a sudden, he's a babyface out of the blue. And I don't know what they're expecting, but the crowd wasn't really into it at all. And then at the end, he won, and the crowd erupted. I don't know, it was a very strange crowd reaction to me. It's like they didn't want to see the match, but boy, they loved it that Christian won the title. If they want to keep Christian as a babyface, he's got to, do something to get the crowd with him, which I think he can do. Just need some promos. Match of the night, by far, no, I don't think there's anything that was even close. CM Punk versus Daniel Bryan. This, I think, is a match of the year candidate. Just an awesome match, and it's really refreshing to see the crowd so into an actual wrestling match with mat wrestling, trading submission holds. I like that kind of match, but you're always worried, is it going to appeal to the masses? Are they going to yell boring? And then it kind of makes you feel bad. It's like, wow, these guys are really going out there showing you what a wrestling match can be, and the crowd doesn't like it, but the crowd was really behind it. You had chanting Punk and Daniel Bryan chants, and I gotta say, all night the commentary was pretty bad. But particularly in this match, Booker T, King just didn't say anything, which is probably the way to go, but Booker T and Michael Cole every time they'd put on a submission hold or some kind of cool move, they would just say, I don't know what this is called. They wouldn't try to make up a name, or even like back in the day, Vince McMahon would say, what a maneuver. I mean, that was something. He didn't know the name of it, but he put over, and he didn't just outright say, I don't know what that's called. These are the commentators. You're looking at them for knowledge. You're supposed to know what they're talking about, and they have no clue. They're a couple of buffoons. Bad commentary. It didn't detract from the match, but it certainly didn't add anything like a great Jim Ross commentary can do. But just an awesome match. Really cool curb stop spot. And the curb stomp, and they didn't even know what that was. And I thought that was a pretty easy move to at least make something up, or say, God, that's devastating. Not say, I'm a freaking idiot, and I don't know what the hell that is. I mean, you're supposed to be the expert. Just, like I said, awesome match. But what I was saying about the commentary, not only was it bad, but I hope this doesn't become like a trend here in WWE, because they were kind of trying to like make excuses why the crowd liked Daniel Bryan, because they said it's just a yes chance, and I'm sure that has a big thing to do with it. But I think that's a bad mentality to have. If a guy's over, he's over. Run with it. Don't try to make excuses why he's over. Who cares why he's over? The man's over. Go with the guy. I don't know why they have to do that. If they just be happy, I would just be like back in the day. If they would have said, Austin, this guy's really over. And I'm not saying Daniel Bryan is Austin or he'll ever be that level, but this holds though. Austin's getting over. What if they would just say, you know what, this guy's over because he drinks beer and he flips a bird and he swears? Why push him? I mean, it would have been stupid. If the guy's over, friggin' push the guy. Really cool finish. Daniel Bryan had Punk in a submission hold, and he flipped it over. He pinned Daniel Bryan, and then he was tapping, and when he saw it live, I thought maybe he was tapping while he's being pinned, and then when they showed the replay, he actually tapped just like moments right after the pin, which I thought was even better, because then it was like the babyface actually won. It wasn't poor reffing, but it was so close that it warrants a rematch, and this match was really hot, and I hope we see a rematch. And I'm not a guy to talk bad about someone's looks, obviously, but CM Punk, I know the guy just turned vegan, you think you'd be like in a lot better shape, but he kind of looked probably about the worst shape I've ever seen the guy in. I mean, it didn't affect the match. It was a good match, but physically he did not look very good. Another unannounced match. There's a lot of unannounced matches lately in WWE, and I know WCW used to get a lot of flack for that, and ECW used to get a lot of flack for that. I don't really see anybody talking bad about WWE for it, but it's kind of like poor planning. Why not announce these matches, get people excited? I could see one once in a while, but nonetheless, it was Ryback versus Camacho, Haku Jr., who just, I don't get this. He's the son of Haku. Haku's, I think, a legendary wrestler. Maybe not the most mainstream guy, but a lot of people know he's this real tough guy. But nonetheless, Samoan guys have really done well in wrestling, but so they take him and they make him to a Mexican guy, and not only a Mexican guy. I mean, I don't care if he's Mexican, but the guy is, and he's Samoan. And then they put him with this other guy, and they ride bikes together. And this just goes way over my head. I don't know out there. Maybe, is this cool? You kids out there, I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you. I don't know. I could be wrong. I'm 36. I don't know. I'm out of the 18 to 35 demographic, so I don't know these things anymore. Last year, I might have known. I might have said, you know what? That is pretty freaking cool. This year, I don't know. If you see two guys riding a bicycle made for two, back in my day, I would think, they were foreign, maybe they were buying French bread, or they were just, a couple of sissies. Today, these guys are supposed to be tough, like gangster guys, and they're not a motorcycle. They ain't riding a motorcycle, not a motorcycle sidecar, not two guys on a freaking motorcycle. No, they're riding a pedal bicycle. Two grown men on a pedal bicycle. Is this tough today? Is this considered like badass? Two grown men on a bicycle made for two? Times have changed. I don't know. Maybe it's cool, but to me, I see him, and I think this is one of the worst gimmicks I've ever seen. But anyway, Camacho was the first guy ever to take Ryback off his feet, knocked him down. Very strange guy to do that. I remember back in the day, Doug was the first guy to take Yokozuna off his feet. Camacho, I mean, do you see him ever do anything with Camacho? But anyway, Camacho took Ryback off his feet, and but it didn't really matter. I actually liked the match. It was, this powerhouse, typical Ryback squash match. The crowd did not like it. They were chanting Goldberg and booing the guy, and Ryback was really wanting them to get behind him, but they weren't. I think there's too many undefeated streaks right now in WWE because you have Ryback, who's destroying everybody. You have Lord Tensei, who's destroying everybody, and you get Brodus Clay, who's destroying everybody. None of the three have lost yet, and I'm not saying that you want to just make them lose, but it's very similar. They all three guys have squash matches, primarily. I don't know, Lord Tensei beat John Cena, but I don't know. It's kind of all the same kind of thing. So then it came time for the main event. Now, so you have the world title. You have the WWE title. And the show is main evented by John Laurinaitis, a non-wrestler, versus John Cena. I had no problem with the match itself. I had no problem with them doing it. I don't think doing this match made John Cena look bad. If you just take this match out of context as itself, I actually liked it. I thought it was fun. I don't know what people were expecting. I've seen a lot of hate for this match. I've seen some people enjoy it too. But primarily a lot of hate. But I don't know what you were expecting. I was expecting kind of a comedy match, and it delivered in that aspect to me. I had fun watching it. But just the match alone, I would like it. I thought it was good. But when you take it and you main event the show, it doesn't make any sense to me. Add on the fact that John Cena, he lost to The Rock, who's gone making movies. He lost to Lord Tensei, who I think is a big flop. He's lost to this guy, and the only guy he's beat, like in a big match, is to me the one guy that he should have never beat was Brock Lesnar. Well, not never beat, but never beat in this very first match. I mean, Brock Lesnar coming out of the MMA, years off, huge, paying the guy a lot of money, huge name value, everything about him, biggest draw in the history of UFC. Bring him in right away. He's not a normal wrestler. Put the man over in his first match anyway. Obviously, on his way out, you have someone beat him. But the very first match, he should never lose. Very stupid. And to think about this, now John Cena lost to Brock Lesnar to get ready for John Laurinaitis, who beats him. John Laurinaitis beats Cena, but Brock Lesnar can't. Brock Lesnar can destroy Cena. Just violently decimate the man, and Cena will not lose. He comes back and still wins. John Laurinaitis, he'll hit his arm, get basically no offense in, one punch by the Big Show, Cena's all done. Just I'm kind of mind boggled by this. I don't understand it. But now, if he would have lost to Brock and he lost this, still think it'd be kind of silly, but whatever. But coming off that loss to Brock, I think it really hurt that. It hurt the title matches. I don't understand why. I guess I shouldn't even worry about this anymore, but because it's probably like just bygone. It's never going to come back to importance again. But the tag matches aren't main events of the pay-per-view. Cena's always the main event, and I'm not saying that people don't like Cena's not a draw, but why is he always the main event when he doesn't have the title? Why does everybody who comes in, Brock Lesnar, Lord Tensei, The Rock, all these guys, now, if you come into a company, you would think, I'm going for the title. Nah, I'm going for John Cena. Why? Why? He's not the champion. And if he is the best, if he is the main event, why isn't he the champion? I think it's hard to grasp for and I know some people say, oh, you're being a mark, you're thinking too much about it, but I don't think so. Now, if you were watching a show, if you're not familiar with these things, and you turned in when you think, the main guy's the champion, when you think the main part of the whole program is, this guy wants to win the title. Why is everyone challenging this random guy who doesn't have the title? And why are these other guys the champion when this other guy's more important all the time? It doesn't make any sense to me. But anyway, match, I actually thought it was funny. And again, I thought it was actually good storytelling till the end. Was all this stuff John Laurinaitis has done. Now he gets what he deserves. He gets his ass beat long. I think the match was way too long. But, he gets a big ass whooping. It was kind of fun. Really fun commentary spot when they were both sitting in the chairs at ringside. And they were doing commentary. And John Laurinaitis said 5 time, 5 time, 5 time. And, man, the man really looked like... Now, he always sounds like Super Dave. With the jumpsuit, he actually even looked like Super Dave, which was kind of funny. Lots of crazy stuff. It was weird because Michael Cole probably did the best job on commentary the whole show. For this match, and it was a comedy match, but that's probably the best use of Michael Cole. Late in the match, we had "This is awful" chant, which is kind of a play on "This is awesome" chant, which is kind of funny. But anyway, so Big Show came out, and he dragged John Laurinaitis back in the ring, who run away. And I kind of saw this coming a mile away. I think everyone did. And then he basically whispered something in Big Show's ear. I think, I'll give you your job back if you help me win. And so then instead of chokeslamming Laurinaitis, he punched John Cena, and Laurinaitis won. Now, Big Show, how many times has this guy turned heel and babyface? Countless. Oh, man, kind of flat to me. John Cena, Big Show, does anybody really want to see that? I don't think so. But I think maybe they've realized Laura Tensei isn't cutting it, so they went with Big Show, but of all the people. And again, this will probably be the main event on the next pay-per-view, Big Show and Cena. Again, not for the title. Doesn't make much sense to me. But again, if you just take this match as it is, besides the finish, I thought it was fun. As a main event of a pay-per-view, it's kind of stupid, especially over the title matches and coming off Rock winning. But overall, I'd say the pay-per-view is definitely worth watching. No, just terrible matches, I don't think. Some people hated the main event. I think primarily most people did, but I liked it. I think it's just going to be very polarizing. Some people will probably dig it, think it's funny, and some people are just going to hate it. And I have no problem if you hate it, if that's not your deal. But I expected it to be what it was, and I thought it was funny. But overall, I thought it was a good pay-per-view, and I saw a lot of people saying it was like a throwaway pay-per-view. It was terrible, one of the worst ever, but I really disagree with that. But I've always said a lot of times the pay-per-view is determined by the main event. If it's got a great main event, you remember it as a great pay-per-view. Bad main event, you remember it as a bad pay-per-view. And maybe if you would have switched that match placement with the Daniel Bryan and CM Punk match, I think it would have been remembered more as a great pay-per-view. But I think it's definitely worth checking out. So anyway, rate, comment, subscribe. Check out iWhiteWrestling.com this Wednesday, 8:05 p.m. Eastern. Dirty Dutch Mantel, he's supposed to be there. That old dirty bastard, that old man, he's no-showed us twice now. He's got better things to do, apparently. He's like a freaking prima donna. But you know what? 1-inch biceps to myself. They call him handlebar mustaches for a reason there, Dutch Mantel. I'm going to grab one side. Inchman's going to grab the other side. We're going to pull that old man out of his shack. We're going to drag him out into the streets. And we're going to get this interview one way or another. So check it out. iWhiteWrestling.com. And in the meantime, check out all these videos. It's good time, people. Check out Twitter. Check us out at iWhiteWrestling.com. Check us out on Facebook. There's the Headyverse. There's the In Your Head fan page. There is the Jackie Jones Internet Icon fan page. And, of course, check out the message board. There's so much going on in the world of In Your Head, and I see new people joining all the time. Makes me happy because it is one big community. It's not just the audio show. It's not just these video shows. There's a whole community involved, and if you partake in it, I think you can have a lot of fun. So even on Monday nights when you're watching Raw, Thursday nights you're watching Impact, Sunday nights you're watching the pay-per-view, and Friday nights if you're watching SmackDown, come to the chat room at iWhiteWrestling.com, and you can have fun with all the Headyverse fans. All right, guys, we will see you soon. Hold there!